I don't want to die, Dad.
Don't worry, Bobby, you're not. I'm gonna go talk to the doctor right now. Give it to me straight, Doc. What's wrong with my son?
I'm sorry, Mr. Fleming, but I'm afraid your son has come down with scarlet fever.
No! I will find a cure. The discovery of penicillin, the world's first antibiotic, marks a huge turning point in human history. This discovery was made by Dr. Alexander Fleming in London, September of 1928. Dr. Fleming had just returned from a vacation to find a very messy lab bench and a bunch more. Dr. Fleming found that a mold called Penicillium notatum had contaminated his petri dishes, and through a microscope he found that amazingly the mold prevented growth of the Staphylococci. After a few more weeks of growing the mold, Dr. Fleming concluded that the penicillium mold inhibited the growth of bacteria as well as fought off infectious diseases. 14 years later, in March of 1942, Ann Miller became the first civilian patient successfully treated with penicillin, while lying on her deathbed in New Haven Hospital in Connecticut after a miscarriage and developing an infection that led to blood poisoning.
Penicillin can come in two different classes, those that are naturally occurring and semi-synthetic penicillins. The naturally occurring ones come from mold fermentation, and the semi-synthetic ones are the result of altering the chemical structure of penicillin in various ways. There are still two types of naturally occurring penicillin that are used in the clinical setting today. They are penicillin V and penicillin G. Penicillin G is generally used less because it is sensitive to acid, so it will break down when it reaches the human stomach. For this reason, it must be injected intramuscularly into a patient. Penicillin V and some semi-synthetic penicillins are more resistant to the acidity of the stomach, so they can be given orally as pills. When in the body, penicillin fights a bacterial infection by inhibiting bacterial enzymes. These are enzymes that are in charge of making the cell walls of the bacteria. Without those enzymes, the bacteria cannot grow and replicate. Penicillin will not work against bacteria that are not replicating for that reason. It also does not attack human cells because animal cells do not have cell walls that it can break down. Penicillin is an antibiotic that is used to kill bacterial infections in the body. It is mostly used to cure throat infections, meningitis, syphilis, and other various bacterial infections.
Some of the benefits of penicillin is that they are powerful antibiotics. They kill and inhibit the growth of bacteria and treat many serious bacterial infections such as pneumonia. They are also systemic antibiotics, meaning that once they are absorbed into the intestines, they are spread throughout the body in large amounts. They also have side effects as any other medical treatment does, but these are very mild and pretty easy to deal with, such as headaches and mild diarrhea. And they are also very compatible with other antibiotics and can be used for other ailments when prescribed as such. Of course, there are also risks to taking penicillin, such as the most obvious one being antibiotic resistance. When antibiotics are not taken properly or unnecessarily, bacteria can survive and become resistant to them. There are also the cases of allergies, even though many of the allergies that are reported are not due to penicillin intolerance. They can also be found in animal feed and in food dyes. They can also affect birth control, meaning that when birth control pills and antibiotics are taken at the same time, it may cause the birth control pills not to work properly. And they can also cause a false positive test for urine sugar tests in diabetic patients.
The discovery of penicillin changed the world of medicine enormously. Infections that were previously known as fatal were now able to be easily treated. Penicillin made life less dangerous when it came to infections and diseases. The discovery of penicillin also was able to start the hunt for new antibiotics. To this day, there are over 100 different kinds of antibiotics.
In regards to the Catholic social teachings, there are many points of interest of penicillin in which they abide by the Catholic social teachings, in which they violate them. For example, in regards to the call to family, community, and society, many drug companies have given up on developing new antibiotics. However, it is important to continue researching in order to combat antibiotic-resistant bacteria. And also, for the option of the poor and vulnerable, everyone has a right to clean food and water. However, when not possible, penicillin is available to treat those that need it the most. As for rights and responsibilities, we have a responsibility to handle the crisis of antibiotic resistance in order to ensure every person can have their right to live protected. And as for respect for human life, all life is sacred and it is vital to do all that is possible to preserve lives whenever possible. Penicillin has done this by saving countless lives over the past many years.
Doctor, I discovered a cure. It's penicillin.
I'm sorry, Mr. Fleming. We did all we could, but I'm afraid your son is dead.